Okay, I'd like to welcome Ed Howley this afternoon to talk to us a little bit about his editorship of ACSM's Health and Fitness Journal. He's retired from the University of Tennessee, and so welcome, Ed.
Happy to be here.
I know that you took over the editorship after Larry Golding, and
Right.
he was the initial editor. This all got started, I guess, with the fitness summits, or maybe
Well,
not,
it came in
but-
as a package. The realization, I think about 13 years ago, college realized that with all the certifications, gold
Yeah,
standard
right.
certifications for the health fitness instructor and so on, there was really no professional journal and no professional meeting that really supported all of those people. We're talking tens of thousands of people who were
Yeah.
certified.
Yeah.
And so there was a real need there, and so the college wanted to develop both a journal and a professional meeting. And Larry was the one who translated an idea into reality. I mean, took the idea of the journal and developed it into what it is today. And the same with the summit. I mean, the 12th annual meeting
Yeah, that's
was
amazing.
just last March.
And they've become very successful.
They're very successful. The attendance is terrific, and we're able to, I think, provide a real good, sound educational experience that's practical. I mean, the overriding theme, and Larry emphasized this throughout, is that the purpose of the meeting and the purpose of the journal was to bridge the gap between science and practice. In
Yes,
essence,
yes.
translate the science for the practitioner. And so people are selected to present at the summit who can do it. So there's some people who know the science, but probably might not be the best person to deliver the translation. And so it's a case of actually trying to accomplish both delivery of the content, but also translate it in a meaningful way to those who work on a day-to-day business in a fitness arena. And in that manner, the journal fits the summit as a parallel piece, so that the writers are expected to translate the information in a manner that the readership, which are primarily professional people in the fitness side or students in programs, that they'll be able to see immediately how this information is useful in what they're doing or
So
planning to
the
do.
applicability of
Built
the
into it.
research. And,
Absolutely built into it. And so there are columns in the business sector, columns in the nutrition side, columns related to like David Neiman's Question Authority, where it covers a diverse number of topics, but it addresses them in a question format that delivers content with an answer. There's an answer at the end of it that a person can use and put into practice immediately.
It looked like to me, Ed, in looking at these over the years, that there's also things in here that someone in fact, at a fitness club or whatever could duplicate and
Without question.
and give out to
Yeah. The best-
participants, or put on bulletin boards, and it seems like there's another then whole group of people that you're educating too.
I agree.
And,
Yeah, and in fact, built into it, Jim Peterson's column, which is the most read and valued piece. Jim is just one of those unique creative people with his Take 10 column. It was set up from the beginning to be a cut and paste piece with a place for a business card, so a person could put their business card, Xerox it, and the permission is already given, so that a professional could distribute it out. And Jim deals with a diverse
idea.
number of topics in a very kind of a David Letterman top 10 reasons for doing this or that and the other thing.
Great
And so
idea.
it's very well received. We have another piece in there by Dixie Thompson, who is the associate editor-in-chief, and the focus is on fitness in her piece, but it's also set up in the same thing, single page, little space for a business card that deals with a single topic and one page to cover the content. And so there is an attempt to, and again, it's a service to the professionals.
Yes.
They can use it for clients. They can post it on a bulletin board. It could become part of an educational message that they're delivering to their classes. You know, however they choose to use it.
Yeah.
The idea, again, is that the information is timely. The attempt is to gather a hot topic. So whatever is hot in nutrition, you're going to find it in that nutrition column, because they can keep up with the rate of change. It comes out, every other month.
Yeah, I was going to
And
ask
so-
you if it was like 6 times a year.
Yep. Yeah, and some
so-
columns are 3 times a year. We alternate, and some other columns are every single issue.
Okay, so there's not much lag between,
No, that's right.
like you say, a hot topic
That's
and,
right.
and what's going to be there.
Yeah, when they send it to me for a first pass, to the time it comes out, there's probably 6 months. So it's really very timely, and anything can be updated in the interim.
Is there a web presence for the journal then, or how? Is it through the ACSM?
It's through the
website?
ACSM. You go into the journal website, and you're going to have MSSE, and you're going to have this journal up in that piece. And there's going to be, one of the items I was mentioned at the business meeting
Yes.
yesterday is that there's going to be more emphasis on a web presence. And
Yeah.
I think that it would be wonderful if more content that is in the journal could be put up. I think it would be useful to ordinary people looking for information as
Right.
well as the professional, and would help get the message out, and yet not compromise the integrity of the journal, where a person would have all the pieces and parts, but yet be able to put more information out there. In fact, my recommendation is how to use this information in other ways, and the website, I think, is one of the best examples about how to do it.
Anymore, that's people go there first.
Sure, absolutely.
And whatever they're Googling,
Yeah.
there it could be.
Yeah.
How does the subscriptions to this work? Are there people outside of the college that subscribe to this too, or is it
I don't know.
mainly a member benefit, or
No,
how does
it's-
that work, Ed?
The people can apply to get it. For example, it is not a member benefit
It
for
isn't?
professional members in the college, so they'd have to actually ask for that. But I don't know the detail, the breakdown, and who makes up the membership off the top, but anybody can decide. In fact, in every single issue, you're going to find a card in there that you can fill out and send in for a subscription.
Okay. Is this available on newsstands?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm really not
I've
sure.
never seen it,
Yeah,
but
I
it
don't-
doesn't mean it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
what
I don't
that
know if it
would
is or not.
maybe take a whole different
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, it's, the attempt is to reach a professional. It's different in a sense from magazines like Shape
I
and
was just
so
going to
on.
use the same example, and
Yeah.
I see what you're
Even
saying.
though they're both getting at similar kinds of topics, it is somewhat different in terms of the expectation of who we're writing for and who
Yeah.
we're supporting.
Well, you had started out by talking about all those thousands of people that have been certified.
That's right.
So that's a cut above,
Yeah.
certainly.
And trying to figure out how to get it in their hands, because automatically, if they're certified by ACSM and they maintain their certification, each person gets a copy of certified news, ACSM certified news, on a regular basis. And so there's some very specific content linked to certification-related issues, and they have continuing education credit as a part of it. Now, in the Health and Fitness Journal, each of the feature articles has questions at the back tied to continuing education
sure.
credits as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
So there's a parallel there. And I think one of the issues that the college, this is right now, we're in our, 13th?
I just
This is
looked,
the
and it's
12th
like
edition.
volume 12.
Yeah, and so we're moving through the 12th, just like the 12th Summit. And there's enough time now to entertain the question, taking certified news, where the content is, I look at that and I go, boy, wouldn't that fit well in the journal? And a lot of the content in the journal, of course, would fit in certified news.
Yes.
And is there any way to
put
take
them-
two pieces
I
and move
see.
them together? And there's complications regarding member benefits and benefits associated with certification. So there's some of that, but I'm hoping that that will become part of at least discussion this year.
Very good. Yeah, I see where you're going. If you could get by those few administrative things,
Yeah,
it
and
would
it's
seem to me
yeah.
the value both ways
I agree.
would far outweigh it.
Yeah, and I think it would automatically, number one, the numbers would jump through the roof as far as
Yeah.
subscriptions to
Yeah.
the journal if it were
Yeah.
possible. but it would also expand the number of people that we could invite to meetings, that we could recruit articles from. I think there's an awful lot of a win-win situation,
Yes.
both on this side as well as on the readership side. They'd be exposed to more content that has meaning for them other than just could be delivered, say, in what comes out on certified news.
It makes great sense.
Yeah, but the devil is in the detail, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens next time around.
Is that something that would go then to the Publications Committee, or what would be
It
the
would certainly
procedure?
involve them. I don't know exactly what the mechanics are, but I raised what we just talked about. I raised in our journal meeting at the summit meeting out in Long Beach, and the leadership for the certification was at the meeting. So it was a case of tossing it out, and maybe
what
they'll consider it, maybe they won't. But we have our Health and Fitness Program Committee meeting in 3 weeks up here, and I'm hoping to take a few minutes to try and chase somebody down to find out if they have moved ahead on that.
Yeah, that's a great
so-
idea. So how does the journal work, Ed? Do you invite people? Do you get, is it all invitation? Do you have any kind of an editorial board, or how does the...
We have an editorial board, and the associate editors write their columns in whatever the routine, every issue or every other issue. And so there's automatically content that's structured thematically.
that they're responsible
Yeah,
for
worksite
each-
health promotion, we know what we're going to get. The business side, we know what we're going to get. Nutrition, we know what we're going to get, and so
Okay.
on. And so around that, we have feature articles. And the feature articles are going to deal with a diversity of topics, which is, I think, really important that we represent the breadth of what the fitness person has to stay in touch with. And people can submit feature articles to us. We have the information up on a website, and as long as they meet the spec, it goes through administrative review to see if it fits. And if it does, then it goes out to reviewers. And a minimum of 2, in many cases 3, depending on the type of topic. And after all of the feedback comes back, I go through each of the reviewers' content. I read the paper entirely, and a judgment is made, as it is for any of the journals,
Yeah.
whether it's going to be accepted with revision, accepted with major revision, rejected, and so on. And the information is sent back to the authors. What we have done over the last 2 years, instead of just waiting for stuff to come in, which really was a little problematic for the journal.
That'd be a little scary
Yeah,
from time
was.
to time.
Yeah, it was a major concern. When I picked up responsibility from Larry, who was the editor-in-chief for 8 years, his major concern was that just relying on that was inadequate and something else needed to be done. So over the last 2.5 years, Lori Tish, who is the managing editor for the journal, and I have hosted teleconferences with different groups of people who I identify as kind of leadership folks. So let's take a popular area like nutrition. We had 4 or 5 people on a teleconference, and my question to them was that over the course of 3 years, what are the kind of major topics that you think health fitness professionals should be brought up to date on? And so they went through and made the laundry list, and I said, well, who would be your top 1st, 2nd, and 3rd authors?
Great idea.
And then we would, Lori contacted the potential authors and asked if they would be interested in writing it. So it was a recruitment process to try and get content identified by leaders in a given area. And we did that for worksite health promotion, behavioral, special populations, and on-the-floor delivery of exercise. So we have 5 working groups, and this year was our 2nd go-round. So we actually have articles going out to 2009 right now. So
Wow,
we're in good shape, and it's what we're trying to accomplish with this latest series of telephone calls and then the follow-up is to develop well enough in advance the mix of articles that would go into each issue.
Oh, yeah. So you can figure out so
That's
each
right.
one is
Yeah.
more balanced. And,
That's exactly right. And if we can do it in a manner that gives the associate editors advanced knowledge of what's in there, then they can either choose to write a column to support something
Yeah,
in it,
yeah.
or write one to make sure it's not overlapping, where we have had that happen because you have 2 different things going on at the same time.
no one knows until it's here.
Yeah,
And-
so we're trying to deal with that as both a planning mechanism
Excellent.
and as something that might help out the associate editors who are absolutely diligent in getting their stuff in. It's just a terrific group of people.
Yeah. Are you able to pay people to do?
Everything is volunteer.
Is it? Okay.
Yep,
Because
everything.
I get calls from freelancers that are writing for Men's Health or whatever, and I know they're getting paid.
Absolutely.
So I wondered if you were having problems getting the good people to do it, and it seems like you're not.
No,
so,
and to me,
great.
that's the spirit of ACSM.
Yeah.
I mean, the volunteers do step up, and we're really talking to top people. The ones across the street right now presenting at the annual meeting and presenting the science, many of those people present at the summit, and they are, they have contributed articles to the journal.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's I think a real reflection of that mission of the college that has the education outreach as one part of it, and they really believe it and put it into practice. And I mean, it's work to write, especially the columnists who have this regular, as you can imagine, cranking out something every other issue in addition to everything else. And yet they deliver first-class material. The journal right now, we have a nice color cover and so on, and try to get at it.
Journal.
But we're black and white pictures inside, and there's a need to, but it's dependent upon the number of subscribers. I mean, and there's some of those elements. That's why I think the interaction with certification, if it resulted in more subscribers and we had a larger base,
that would be a win-win.
the quality of the journal, I think, in terms of the look, the feel, and what embellishments could put in. But LWMW has been enormously supportive all the way along.
I was just going to ask, I assumed it was. It's the same that do the MSSEs.
Yeah, it's an incredible group of people.
Yeah.
I mean, they come and they deliver the goods, and Lori has been an absolute jewel to work with in the ACSM office, and Mark Robertson has been just supportive from day one. I mean, any issue that comes up that needs to go beyond Lori, Mark is right on top of it, deals with it, and moves it ahead. So it's effortless from my end, other than just dealing with the mechanics of getting the reviewers' comments in, making judgments about it, and sending it back out. And everything, since the time I picked it up from Larry, every single thing is done electronically. There is no mailing of anything.
Wow.
And that has really simplified life, because prior to that there was an awful lot of mailing of things back and forth, and now that the office follows this entirely online, it makes it even
That's
easier.
what the past editor of MSSE were saying this morning. They do all their reviews online. Everything is automated, and no more putting manuscripts in envelopes and waiting 3 weeks to get a response.
Sure. It's kind of a different world, and old-timers can appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah.
Young ones don't know the difference.
Absolutely. Tipton was saying how time-consuming it was to handle the manuscripts.
Sure.
And it is.
Sure.
And sometimes they're lost in the mail.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's not that email is perfect. Things get glitches, but you can always correct it next day.
Right, right.
You know?
Well, it sounds like you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I am.
Your editorship.
Yeah, it's really provided an opportunity to, and again, it was after the handoff from Larry to me. I mean, I went out to Las Vegas to visit with Larry because I wanted to get firsthand his experience, what he saw the problems, what he saw as the changes as it was transitioning from being managed away from the national office to being taken into the national office, just like MSSE at that time. They both were coming in at the same time. And he provided excellent information about the kinds of things I needed to consider as I was going forward, both in a recruitment process, the development of this cadre of people to submit articles, and the movement, I think, electronically was a major step. It really simplified things from my end from the get-go. So I can literally manage it at my end without any difficulty.
And it's the kind of thing you want to do when you're retired. To be able to...
That's some of what I want to do when I retire.
I meant the fact that it's a little easier to deal with.
Oh, it is.
And you can deal with it here or there or wherever you have access
in fact,
that's, to a computer. So
that's it. And anytime I've been on a major trip and gone and away, I can just let Lori, I said, Lori, don't send me any emails till I get back. And when I get back, they all show up. And in most cases, we're far enough ahead that we're not trapped in that kind of deadline. And so really that flexibility has been
That's
terrific.
Yeah.
You know. And
If
so-
you had to do something when you're retired, that would be the
Yep, it works for me.
way
In fact,
you would want to do it.
that's right. Because even though I retired from the university, I'm still revising textbooks, and I'm doing this, and I'll be chairing the summit committee for the next 4 years. And that fits into kind of what I want to do. So I wanted to stop doing what I was doing at UT, but not stop doing what I was doing,
Absolutely.
you know, professionally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this works out very well.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Yeah, good
perfect
fit.
plan.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
What's your take on where the college is now and where it's been and where it's headed, and any feelings
Well,
about
I mean,
the big picture?
I think Bing Saltinen has talked today, mentioned that when he delivered the Wolf Lecture, he thinks there was like 400 or 500 people or 100 people in the audience, whatever it was.
72, I think it was.
Yeah, we had a meeting, and the meeting was held in Knoxville, I think, in like 73 or 4, and it couldn't have been more than 400 or 500 people. Well, the summit has 1,200.
Yeah,
The Southeast Regional Chapter has 600 or 700 at it. And so the one thing that clearly has happened is the explosion in size, and I think that Bing also referenced that in terms of the amount and quality of science.
Yeah.
That has transformed so much in terms of what we know about not just exercise physiology and mechanistic side of exercise physiology, but also the public health implication, so that the old exercise prescription for fitness moved over to a public health side to deal with the issues of inactivity and obesity and all of the chronic diseases that are affected in a very good way by regular participation in exercise. And the college has played a major role.
Yeah. I think the Surgeon General's report's a perfect example.
Yep,
of your
without
point,
question.
Ed.
Yep, without question. And so, I mean, I think it's gone from what I think about the original leadership, the ones I got to know when I joined the college in 1966. It was the physician groups were cardiologists. And right now, the ones I've gotten to know are primary care docs, as well as
family
orthopedic
medicine,
and family medicine people.
Yeah.
And so we have changed in terms of that focus, where cardiac rehab grew, developed, and it's sustained, as Barry Franklin was describing in his the Pollock lecture today. But the college just continued to grow and deal with needs as they came up. And I think right now the impact on public health policy, the major impact the college has had in setting standards and guidelines for physical activity and health has had an absolute major impact, and will continue to. I see that the college's role in terms of public presence is going to grow.
Yeah, they've positioned themselves very nicely, I think, in that realm.
I think the partnerships that have developed with CDC and other major organizations.
And it used to be, well, all along with the American Heart Association.
Oh, yeah.
But now with the AMA.
Yeah, without question. Yeah.
With the exercise as medicine
Sure.
thing.
And it's a reflection of the maturation of the college, but I think it's the reputation of the college that opened the doors to those partnerships.
I do too.
You know, and I think that it's just a good reflection of the membership, that the quality that they bring to the table.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much,
quite
Ed,
welcome.
for talking. And
Enjoyed it.
that half hour goes real fast. But